Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Millie and Billy No Ball. Today we are joined with the wonderful Kate Taylor.
Yes, Kate is an insane footballer. She's a football fan and she currently plays at Dijon in France. She was the captain of our under 20 youth national team for the Costa Rica 2022 World Cup. She's a centre back, sometimes defensive midfielder when she wants to be. But yeah, we're so excited to have her on, and yeah, we can't wait to chat with Kate.
Woo!
Thanks for coming, Kate.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Do you want to get us started by telling us a little bit about your football career so far?
Yeah, of course. Um, so I feel like I kind of started just how every other, I don't know, young footballing Kiwi kind of did, and at the local club just down the road, kicking about. I started with my sister, which is quite funny because she does not do anything to do with football anymore. And my dad was the coach, which was quite cute, but again, like he's just a supporter now. He doesn't really put his 2 cents worth in too often, which I like. Yeah, kind of just went through. It was called Nomads United, and I really enjoyed it. It was very wholesome and quite like a niche kind of club at the time, but it's kind of gotten a bit bigger now, which is cool. And yeah, just stayed there for a few years. Then I ended up at Cash Tech, started playing with girls, and then I joined the Youth Pride, which was kind of a new initiative at the time. And then from there, I kind of went back to boys a little bit, which I know, Millie, you kind of did the same thing or kind of stayed in that kind of system, which I think was really beneficial for me. And I actually really enjoyed it as well, which probably at the time I didn't, but looking back now, I think I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought. And yeah, kind of stayed at Tech and played with the Pride, with the women's team there for a few years, and then I was kind of deciding whether to go America, which a lot of previous firms had kind of done, and that's what Wheel of the Age Groups was kind of leading. And I had some hard conversations with coaches. Some were saying like, "Yeah, do it." Some were like, "You're going to ruin your career if you go to the States." And so it was like really conflicting at like the time, and it was actually kind of horrible, but not horrible, but challenging to navigate as a
Hmm.
young teenager. But I decided to
Yeah.
go to the Phoenix, and yeah, that's kind of where my professional career, I guess, started.
Cool. And I know you played lots of sports growing up, as most Kiwis did, but what do you think drew you to soccer, and then what made you think this is something I can really take seriously and actually pursue a career in?
I think when I was younger, I wanted to be a touch player, um, which is quite funny.
I've seen some pictures of you as a touch player.
Yeah, I don't know, I loved it, and it just reminded me of summer, and I had lots of friends, and we would just have such a good time together. And I think I got to a point where I was kind of deciding between touch and football. And I would look at what was kind of offered to us in New Zealand for touch, and then this is when like the women's game started to grow a little bit, and so I could see what was happening in that realm. And so it was kind of a no-brainer. Like I thought I was better at touch, but there was no pathway there, and so that's kind of when football took over.
That's really interesting. You mentioned that you had switched between playing with all girls and then playing with boys and kind of went to girls and then back to boys. What kind of led you to make those decisions across that timeline, and what positive and negative aspects did you see in both of those experiences?
Yeah, so I think I was about 13 when I started playing fully with girls, and then I decided to go back to boys maybe 15 or 16 just for a few trainings a week. So I wasn't fully in a boys' environment. And so I think for me, it was nice because I had that balance. I had the social side of the women's game, and then I had that competitive kind of like repetitions, physicality from 15-year-old boys, which sounds a bit funny, but um, and I think that's I really split the two environments in half. I felt that I wasn't getting enough out of the women's space, and so that which to me was purely like a social aspect. And so then I could use the boys' side to just focus on training, which was quite nice.
That's really cool. That's really interesting.
Okay, I want to know about your first professional season with the Knicks. It was quite an experience from what I've heard. You guys had to move over to Wollongong. It's during COVID times. How did you find that experience? And like, what did you learn from that first season?
It was really bizarre. I felt like I was a kid, but living in a different country away from home. It was really random. And I think I look back and we would all live together. We would see each other every day. We would go to training, come home, and that was it. Like, it was so weird. It felt like a 6-month long camp. Yeah, but we had so much fun. I couldn't even tell you what we did every day, but we would, there were new people from Australia, and so I made really good friends with Kushla, who you know, Millie. And so I think that was like cool. But I think the biggest thing I learned was like not how to mature, but I guess maturing at a younger age because of that experience. And yeah, there was no pressure on us to play, which I think was quite nice. We were the underdogs the whole season, and anything that kind of came from it was a bonus because of the situation that we were in. But we had a lot of fun, and I mean, we didn't do so well when you look at the table, but I think like as a team we definitely improved and we had some good players.
What do you think the hardest part about being in that environment was, like, for you, like your personal life?
I think the hardest thing was probably getting time to yourself. I think I was young and so I probably didn't need as much of that as maybe I do now, but I look back and I was constantly surrounded by teammates, which I mean probably wasn't the most healthiest situation for all of us, but yeah.
Yeah, I feel like your social battery is so much bigger when you're younger, but when you get older,
Yeah,
you're like, no, like, shut my door, leave me alone. That's
exactly.
funny. How did you find moving away from home for the first time?
I wasn't too bothered by it. I think knowing that I was only 3 hours away and I was with some of, like, my best friends, I think that was really helpful.
Yeah, I feel like moving away from home for the first time is kind of fun, but then, like, the longer you stay away, it's like, maybe I wanna go back for a second now."
Yeah, I feel like the environment that you were in, it was obviously moving away from home, but because everyone else back home was in lockdown or in a COVID situation, you probably maybe didn't get any FOMO, or it would have been.
Yeah, and it felt like a dream, like, it didn't feel like real life or anything, so I think it's just yeah, it was so unique.
Yeah, if anything, I feel like us at home in lockdown, we're having FOMO of you guys, like, we just saw you guys at the beach every day, and I was, like, so jealous while I was sitting at home doing my freaking lockdown workouts, like, so boring.
Yeah, so before we got started, we were talking a little bit about our uni experience. So we know you are a Massey student. Could you share a little bit about what you're studying and how you find balancing that with your football?
Yeah, so I do a Bachelor of Health Science, which is really interesting. I think I always wanted to become like a nurse or a midwife. And so for me, this was kind of a transition piece into that because I think my main focus, well, no, I think my main focus at the moment is football. And so I still wanted to find a way to edge closer to becoming a nurse or a midwife, but without having to do placements and, the basically the things that you need to do. So I think this was like
The
a good happy
practical kind
medium.
of aspect.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. You know how people like, oh, like, do you want to become a football coach or a manager or, and I've always gone like, oh, not really. Yeah, but I love people and I love babies. And so I just think it would be so fun to
That's
do
so
it.
awesome that you have a second passion that because I feel like one of the biggest kind of problems in the lifespan of a football career is that people do end up getting quite lost when that time does come. So it's really awesome, and I feel like your football experience and working with injuries and people and such a close-knit environment will probably give you a different perspective in that industry anyway that will probably be quite beneficial, I would say.
I just want to talk about your move to Dijon in France and how that all came about, what pushed you to like make that jump overseas, and how you're finding the culture, lifestyle, and things like that.
Yeah, so after my first season at the Phoenix, um, or maybe it was the second one, I really considered moving overseas. Um,
May I ask, sorry, before you, I just want to understand like the timeline. So how old were you when you first got to the Phoenix?
17.
Okay. And then how were you there for 2 years? Or 3
Three.
years?
3, yeah.
3 years. Okay. Yeah, got it. Sorry.
Yeah, so I think it was after my second one, I really considered moving overseas. Not that I still kind of felt that we had unfinished business as like a team. Like we still hadn't done that well after the second year. I guess I was probably still finding my feet. It was our first year in Wellington. I had a few injuries and stuff like that. And so on one side I was like kind of being pulled to stay. And then there was another part of me that was like, oh, should I go and try something new, something fresh, something different? Um but I ended up staying, and so then once I finished my 3rd year, I was like, "Right, it's time." I mean, I was still young enough, but I felt like I had learned everything I maybe could have from that environment and from Wellington and from the A-League, and so I at the start of the window leading into the Olympics, I didn't have, like, many options, and, you always get, like, a little bit nervous, that nothing's gonna come up, but then my agent texted me about this place in France, and I feel like at the start I wasn't fully convinced. I was very nervous, and I think I'd spoken to people and they had kind of said like, "Oh, maybe go somewhere where they speak English," or like kind of like an intermediate step. But literally, I got on a call with the coaches and I just said yes, and yeah, that was kind of it. I skipped the intermediate step and probably went for one of the hardest things.
Yeah, no, like, props to you, like, I feel like that takes a lot of bravery, especially in non-English speaking countries, so, yeah, very proud of you for doing that. And how are you finding France now? You've been there 1 season and just starting your 2nd season, so, yeah, how's it going?
The first year was probably, like, the hardest thing I've had to experience in, like, so far, in my life. I think you learn a lot about yourself, and you kind of learn how to, I guess, be in your own head and, like, live on your own, even though I lived with other people. It was so different to anything I'd ever experienced. So I think there was definitely a lot of positives from that, and I learned a lot about myself and how to kind of communicate differently, which has been quite interesting. And then I think moving into this season, I had like a good idea of what to expect. I stayed at the same club, same city, same area, and so I think that's also been really helpful. And so, yeah, I'm enjoying it a lot more this year as well, so that's nice.
How is have you learned a little bit of French?
Yeah, so we do oh my gosh, I don't know. I have 2 funny stories. We do French, classes once a week, which is really good. The teacher is so lovely. She kind of reminds me of, like, my mum type vibe. She's just really calm and really, like, loving, and so she makes it way easier to go to French class and actually enjoy it. Cause wow. Um, and I actually found that after last season, I went home, and then when I came back, I understood a lot more, which is kind of weird.
That's interesting.
Yeah, speaking is really hard, so it's definitely a lot easier to listen. But the other day too, so the first thing that happened was we were in the gym, and I've always struggled with learning French numbers. I've recently struggled with learning French numbers because they're just. But anyway, we were in the gym and we were obviously doing weights and we were doing hip thrust or something. And so I was trying to learn how to say like 100, 200, 300. Anyway, so one girl told me how to say 200, and then I went over to another girl and said 200, but I said the wrong thing and accidentally told her that she smelled bad. Which is like, it was so bad. It was so bad.
How do you say that when you're trying to say a number?
Oh, I mean, probably to French people it's not that similar, but I was so embarrassed. So obviously I've progressed a little bit in French, but obviously not as much as I maybe would like to. And the other day we were talking about the teacher would ask us a question and we would have to reply in French. And when you say you don't want something, it's like it's a little bit difficult to say. Anyway, she asked me a question and I got really excited. So I started to answer and I tried to say that I love fruit. And then I was going to tell her what fruit I loved. Anyway, I accidentally told her that I loved her because in, in French you don't say like I love food. You say I like food. And so I told her that I loved her on accident.
Cute,
Aw.
Kate. That's really nice.
That's really awesome.
She said she loves me too, so that's cute.
Oh, bless. You got it back. That's all that
It's
matters.
a really, really polarizing different miscommunications. You've told someone they smell like shit and you've told someone you love them.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
You're
hilarious.
just, well, I guess we would say they're passionate people, so you're just trying to get on that cultural vibe.
Get on that level.
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh,
Sure did.
God.
That's for sure.
That's really funny.
That is really funny.
And I saw that you recently captained your team. How was that?
Yeah, it was cool. It was in pre-season, so we were obviously still trying to work through some things as a team and still are, but it was nice. I think it showed that the coach had has some confidence in me. But we have some really good people in our team and some very experienced players, both who have played in French national teams and who have played overseas as well. So I think it's nice to kind of work alongside them and learn from them as well, which it's quite cool.
So you've had experience now captaining a team pre-season for your team, and then Millie said before you've also been the fans captain for the under-20s. What does it mean to you to be a captain and show that sort of leadership within a team?
I think it's a little bit nerve-wracking, but I think that's the cool part of it. And I think for me personally, I don't like to speak too much. I think back in under-20s, I probably felt a bit more comfortable to do so, just because we were all the same age and we'd played with each other for a while, or we kind of knew of each other growing up. And so I think that was a little bit different captaining that team. But I think now I kind of take more of an action-led approach. And so I think that makes me kind of just do me and kind of focus on what I can do to help the team through my actions. And so I think that's kind of what's helped me recently kind of do that. And I think I still had that back then, but I think we were just a bit more of a tight-knit group, so it was easy to kind of pull ideas off each other and things like that.
Cool.
Kate, what are some hobbies you do outside of football that get your head away from football and help you relax and things like that? What is things you enjoy doing?
At the moment, I've been loving baking and trying new TikTok recipes.
Love it. Yeah, you've been popping up on TikTok.
What have you been making?
The other day I made, yogurt bark, and you put yogurt down and then some fruit and some chocolate.
Yeah.
I highly recommend. It was really good.
Yum. Love.
Yeah, that's probably my main hobby at the moment.
Nice. And Massey University.
Yes. Represent.
We are now we're now 2 years from Women's Football World Cup. So you were a part of that team for the Women's World Cup in 2023, and how was that experience for you?
Yeah, I think it was a really unique experience kind of because of the position I was in. So I was like a training player, but I was with the team the whole time. And so I kind of got to see two sides. I got to see like the playing side and I got to see it from a spectator's standpoint, which I think, I mean, obviously I was gutted that I didn't make the 23 to play, but I think what I saw from the stands and the crowd and the spectators and, even just hearing things on social media and on the news and walking outside and seeing fans and things, I think that was really cool. And so I am happy that I got to experience that from a different point of view. And I think it taught me a lot kind of going forward in the Ferns environment as well.
Yeah, totally. How do you think that, from what you've seen and being a part of that team environment, and then also obviously you had the spectator perspective, how do you think that's impacted women's football in New Zealand since that time?
I think we've started to see more girls playing football, but there's also more girls initiatives around, like, I think the Fantails, if you know what that is, Free kind of started this girls only group, and I think that's really cool. And even if I go back to my local club, I see more girls teams around and not just a girl and a boys team or two girls and a boys team, but you see girls competitions. And so I think that's been really cool to see.
Yeah, nice. Love it. So we've discussed your World Cup experience. How was the Olympics? You're an Olympian. How does that feel?
Olympian, a goal scoring Olympian. Banger, by the way.
I honestly don't know what came over me, but I feel like leading up to the tournament, I just had a bit more confidence because I wasn't in the back line. I could kind of go and do what I wanted a bit more, and if I made a mistake, like, we had some really good defenders behind us to, like, mop it up a little bit. So I think that really helped me going into the tournament. And I feel like I just had a new perspective on the Ferns, and yeah, it was quite nice just to go and try my best.
Yeah. I feel like I relate to that in a sense because I feel like the tour before, like the Spain one, everyone kind of like just became like really good friends, like really randomly. Like everyone just got really close. I don't know why it was that tour, but it just like happened that way. And then it felt like going into the Olympics, everyone was like really close and everyone like genuinely wanted the best for each other. And I think it was really nice. I mean, yeah, I don't know if you think the same, but that's what I felt.
Yeah, I feel like we had so much fun, and that tour before was so fun playing fishbowl with like
Yes.
half the team outside every night, and then
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know what it was about the Olympics. I was obviously definitely nervous. I'm sure you were too. Like, we played in front of big crowds and cool stadiums, and I mean, going to the village and things like that, you got to see some pretty cool spaces and people. But I don't know. It's just I felt chill as well, which was nice.
Yeah. And how did it feel when you scored that goal in like the Lyon stadium? It was like insane against France, like the freaking host country, and the stadium was packed as well. So it was a cool environment to score.
Yeah, I think it was cool, and I think what was nice about it is I really thought we could win that game. I know, like, obviously they're a world-class team and they have some amazing players and it was in their country, but I remember we definitely had opportunities in that game to score other goals. And then so I think, like, once I scored that goal, I was like, okay, like, we just need to score another one. Like, I think it was 1-1 at that point. And then they ended up winning 2-1. But like, we were not far off, and I think that shows that it's exciting and what's to come in New Zealand, hopefully, as well. So yeah, I remember scoring, and I was like, "What the heck has just happened?"
No, that was
Yeah,
so
it is
cool.
crazy. And the French team was stacked. So that is a pretty unique experience to have. What do you think your favorite memory of the Olympics was outside of scoring the goal?
I want to know if you're thinking the same thing as me.
I don't know what you're going to say, really, but you know what I really loved? I loved all the dance sessions we did before training.
Yeah.
Those were fun.
Elaborate.
We would do it was Just Dance,
Shakira.
wasn't it? I think.
Yeah, we started with Shakira and then moved to Just Dance.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, Shakira was hilarious.
Yeah, that was so funny with Anna.
That was so bad.
I would
I think
pay to see that.
that's up there. Oh,
Yeah,
wait, there's definitely videos somewhere
100%. I've got like 10.
on your iPad.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, my iPad, my iPad vlogs. This was when we got our phones stolen, and we were like trying to find our phones. That was bad as well.
What was your favorite memory, Millie? Was that the same?
I was gonna say like outside of like team and everything. That night we had in Paris where we biked to the Eiffel Tower. And it was like so fun. It was my family and then Indy and Kate, and we all biked to the Eiffel Tower. We randomly saw Anna and Macy at the Eiffel Tower as well, and did we get crepes? We got some food, and then it was really cute. We saw the sparkly Eiffel Tower, and then we biked back, and then it started pouring rain, and we were on our Lime like e-scooters, and we were just biking through Paris like drenched, but it was so fun and like literally something I will always remember like forever. It was like honestly so fun.
I think it was the best out of my life. And I feel like we all said that afterwards. And your parents and your brothers, like, it was so wholesome. I loved. It was so fun.
That's actually so cool. What a place for like to be at the
Oh my God.
Olympics.
Yeah.
Wow. Just to be in that environment must have been the most insane experience. Obviously, being in a World Cup environment is equally as incredible. I can't imagine like what it would be like going through the village and just being surrounded by the most elite athletes in the world. Like it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I'm glad we got to spend a few days in Paris because I feel like we were kind of outside of the Olympic bubble other than that. We didn't really get to experience it, but yeah, we got that one day where we went to the village that morning and then
Need
had that
28,
night.
hopefully you're in a closer vicinity.
Yeah, that'd
Yeah,
be cool.
hopefully.
But yeah, I'm glad we got to experience it a little for that day.
I wish we saw like Simone Biles or
That
someone
would have been so
really
cool.
famous,
Yeah.
but I feel like we didn't see anyone famous. Or
We saw
obviously
like
they
a
were all
few like
famous, but
kind of famous, but like no one like whoa. That's crazy.
yeah,
I feel like
it was
in
cool.
the if you for the LA one, I reckon some real stars are gonna be there.
For sure. I think even walking the streets, you'll see some cool people like Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
I really
Imagine.
want to
So
go.
funny.
I just feel like it's gonna be insane.
Yes.
And America always does things bigger, don't they?
Yeah, they do
Yeah.
go above and beyond.
Yeah, and I guess you know, of all the places you'd want to go in America, probably and spend a lot of time, I feel like LA is kind of quite comfortable in that sense. You know,
Yeah,
everyone there
for
is
sure.
really nice, cool place to go, and sunny. How do you find
Yeah.
what's the weather like where you are, Kate? I don't know. I feel like that's such a boring question, but I'm interested.
I feel like it's probably similar to the UK. Maybe we see a little bit more sun though.
Oh, I'm just looking outside my window right now, and I slept in this morning. I woke up at 9. It's now 4:20. It's literally exactly the same amount of light and clouds as it was when I got up this morning. The sky has not changed, and it's so weird because it's just completely grey sky. Like so then when it's night, the sky just looks orange from the lights because it's not fully black. It's just clouds. It's just it's horror.
Seasonal
Birmingham.
depression is a real thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. I've never experienced anything like this level of horrific weather before.
Yeah, seasonal depression.
It's Get me some sun. Like, I see why girls here get in the tanning beds. Like, it's bad. Oh,
Right.
God. But, oh, should we do our quick fire questions? I love these. Kate, what is the first pair of boots you ever owned?
I think they were the retro Adidas with the tongue.
Oh, yes. What are some of your pre-match superstitions or rituals?
I love to brush my teeth before games.
Yes. Do you know that? Do you know that?
Any reason why, or just
Yeah, I don't know. I think when you're a kid, you make all these superstitions up, and I heard you guys talking about them the other day, but I think it just makes me feel fresh. And I haven't
I
brushed them
agree.
since the morning, like, you know?
I agree with that. Like, I don't do it in the change room, but, like, every day I mean, every time before I go to a match, I brush it before I leave the house, so kinda similar.
yeah? I
Yeah.
mean, when you're if you score a goal or if there's photos taken and you're like, you want it to be
I'm
looking
sure
fresh
your
and clean in
teeth
the
looked
photos.
amazing when you scored in
Yeah,
the Olympics.
yeah, because you never know what face you're gonna make when you're celebrating, so you gotta be prepared.
Very true.
Who is the toughest opponent you've faced?
Maybe like Barbara Banda or Chilwinger. Someone like really insanely fast and strong.
Yes.
Yeah.
True.
Dream teammate from anywhere in world football?
Um, I'm gonna say Jude Bellingham, even though this would never happen. And he looks
Fair
good too,
enough.
so it's perfect.
Clock it.
What is your favorite stadium you've played in?
Probably the Leon one. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that was cool. Most underrated skill in football.
Ooh. Mm, a good slide tackle. I feel like
Love
it's
it.
so funny when people do them. I love.
You love a good slide tackle.
Oh,
Only on
and
grass, though.
ooh, VAR, love it or hate it?
Hate it.
Fair.
No, I also love it, but
I feel
depends who.
yeah.
If it's for us, love it. If it's against us, hate it.
So true.
I like it for goal line technology, but I don't like it for like fouls because I feel like the context of the situation is important as well. And I feel like everything looks bad slowed down.
Yes,
Yeah.
literally.
Like when you see it, you, like sometimes you see things you're like, "Oh, that's so bad." And you know it is, but then sometimes things are called and they don't look that bad, but then when they show them on the screen and the ref walks over and like looks at the screen and it's all slowed down, obviously it's going to look bad because
Yeah.
you can see like you're like, "Oh, but that could be anything." I don't know.
Mm,
And I also feel like sometimes slows the whole momentum of the game. Like, sometimes they're looking at their little screens for, like,
Yeah.
5+ minutes. It's, like,
And
ridiculous.
crazy.
I also just think it takes away from the feeling that could be in a game if it's teams that you know are going to be feisty against one another. And before VAR, I feel like some refs could be understanding that that's going to happen and that's just what the vibe of the game is going to be like. But then I feel like with VAR, when you have you have people on, like, you know, looking at everything, it kind of takes away from like the authenticity and the natural flow of the
Yeah,
game, kind
I agree.
of. And
I
also
like
I hate that
offsides.
people can't properly celebrate now. Like they
That's
Yeah.
true,
can, but
actually.
you kind of miss obviously there's instances was it Richarlison who like fully celebrated with his shirt off.
It would happen to him.
Offside.
It would happen to
If that
him.
happens and he gets a
Yeah.
yellow card, does then the yellow card get taken away because the goal doesn't count, so then he doesn't take his shirt off?
That's true, actually. It's a good point. I don't know.
I can't remember. I feel like it did.
It probably stayed.
If it's
I feel like the
Richarlison, it
refs would
probably stayed.
hate
Yeah.
Richarlison as well. Okay, next question. One rule you'd change in football if you could.
I would love it to be tackle rugby but football. Imagine. Yes. No, I think a bit more aggressive. Like, I know if I stand on your foot, it's gonna hurt, but like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, like,
Mm.
don't be so dramatic.
Yeah.
I kind of agree with that. Yeah.
Valid, very valid.
Mm.
I feel like the women's game when I watch women's football, it does tend to be less kind of. I think now, so it's probably a little bit different, but quite a few years ago, it definitely felt more aggressive to me before it had kind of the same like VAR and everything, and just kind of the more like local women's games. I felt like they were less dramatic about fouls just
Mm.
because it was a different vibe.
I
Yeah.
even feel like in the A-League, it was way more like you could get away with things compared to like where I am now.
Yeah,
Yeah, A-League
definitely.
is, like, different. Some of those viral clips that come out of
Bro,
the
some
A-League is hilarious.
crazy. Was
So
it?
funny.
I can't remember exactly which game it was, but I remember watching these clips on YouTube because I saw something pop up, and it was just the craziest behavior, and I love it. But it's wild.
It's like
You would
Like
not be
Sheridan
able
hilarious.
to.
The
Gallagher.
girls in my team were like, "Millie, like, what's going on in Australia? Like, what is this?" And I was like, "You know what?
Well,
I
maybe
don't
it's
know."
just because Australia and New Zealand are rugby countries
Yeah,
or contact sport countries. They
yeah.
just kind of get into it a little bit
But
differently.
Loose.
to be fair, they know how to do their social media because a lot of their clips go viral. It's
Yeah.
pretty funny.
Yeah, it's really funny. I love all that I love all the clips from the A-League. It's just hilarious.
Hilarious.
Great league. Um,
Okay.
who's the Joker of the football fan squad?
Do you know someone I really used to laugh at who has kind of recently retired is Daisy?
She's funny, man.
Yeah, just like one-liners or
Yeah.
things like that. I also laugh at Betty. She just cracks me up.
She's so unintentionally funny, I feel.
Yes. Those are probably my two who I personally laugh at a lot.
Yeah, that's true.
Mm.
That's a good
Would
shout.
you consider your team a funny team? Do you think you guys have good laughs?
I think it depends on the vibe of the tour.
Yeah, I don't want to
Like,
throw shade, but
sometimes it's like
no.
I think everyone is, like, funny individually, but, like, sometimes the vibe is just not
Mm,
there and
that's understandable.
but, like, on the occasional tour, like Spain, I feel like everyone was really, like, loose and everyone was funny that tour and
Mm,
everyone had fun.
Yeah.
But other tours where it's kind of a little less not as great of a mood, everyone kinda keeps to
mm.
themselves a little more.
Yeah.
But more
Stoddy
dependent
is
on the
also really
scoreline.
funny.
Yeah.
Forgot about Stoddy.
Oh, Stoddy, yeah, she's funny. I think there are quite a few funny people, like even Bowen.
Yeah. Yeah,
CJ's
true.
funny.
What is your post-match meal fave?
I feel like I don't have a post-match. I just literally go in the cupboard, open it, and eat like little bits of everything, honestly. It's so random.
Snacks.
Yes, snacks.
Valid,
Mm.
valid, valid. Okay, pre-game hype song.
Um, anything Shapeshifter, if you know who that is.
Hmm.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
Just
valid.
kind of reminds me of home, but also like good hype.
Mm.
nice.
Yeah. Uh, what is your favorite TV show?
I've always loved Grey's Anatomy, which I feel like is kind of
Yeah.
fitting.
Yeah,
That
definitely.
checks
But
right choice.
Yeah.
I recently watched The Summer I Turned Pretty, and oh my gosh, I was
Really?
obsessed.
That's so
Yes.
Wait, really? You liked it?
Yes, I
Did
know.
you
I
not
feel
like it, Millie?
No, I liked it, but I just
Oh.
thought Kate would find it really cringe.
Oh, it
Yeah,
is cringe, but like
I
it's great.
know.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just you just got to get through the cringe.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
just have to
exactly.
embrace the cringe.
Team Conrad, right, Kate?
Yes, oh my days, yes.
Okay.
Love
Whew. Close one. I'll give you a question from our last episode that we did with someone was with Anna. And
Yeah, but
her question was,
what was it?
It was, if you were a kitchen utensil, what would you be?
Oh. What the heck?
I know, it's really random.
A knife.
Okay.
Straight to it. I
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah, a
Sharp.
knife.
I see.
Hmm.
Nice. Okay, and what would a question you want to ask our next guest be?
Okay, mine's not as unique as Anna's, but
No, that's fine.
whoever they are, whatever they do, what is their biggest accomplishment away from their daily
That
activity? If it's football,
Mm.
uni, what's their biggest accomplishment?
Love it.
What would yours be?
Starting a degree, no.
Mm.
No, that's so good. Valid.
I don't even know. Maybe moving away from home. I feel like that's or
Yeah.
like moving
No,
to the other
that's a
side of the
huge
world.
accomplishment.
Learning a
Yeah.
new language.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Love it. Love it. Love it.
Mm. That is definitely a big achievement. Even starting to learn is very cool.
Love it. Thank you so much, Kate, for coming on. We loved having you and loved hearing all your stories and all your little insights and everything like that. And we can't wait to watch you thrive in the future at Dijon and continue to follow your journey and all your successes.
Yeah, so nice to talk to you. So nice to meet you. And we'll see everyone watching next episode.
Thanks,
Bye.
guys.
Bye.